You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If on the other hand you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of indeterminate length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Bork. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Tuesday, 29th day of January, 2019. So glad to have you with us. Thanks for joining. If you're returning, welcome back. If you're here for the very first time, a special welcome to you. We are glad to have you with us. I've got a chart up right now of the S&P 500 E-mini futures. If you cannot see the chart, go to our homepage at CFRN.net. On the right-hand side of the page, click the big microphone, follow the instructions. You'll be registered in about 30 seconds. And if things go well, you won't have to register again. You'll get an email each and every day, about an hour before the broadcast starts. And all you got to do when you're ready to join is click it. That's right. Just click it. Hang on for me just 1 second. All right, here we go. Take two. Okay. Now, Michael's out today. Today's broadcast will be abbreviated. No recap. If you're in the live training room this morning, Bert was there and he walked everyone through the charts and did an excellent job. Bert, if you're listening, thank you very, very much. Appreciate that. Now, as we were wrapping up the live training room, I brought up this chart right here. And these are this week's weekly trading zones. I know I don't usually display them on the broadcast to the entire community until Thursday, but, well, for all the reasons I just explained, I'm showing them to you on a Tuesday. Price came down yesterday, hit the weekly trading zone at 22/23, ran back up to put in a swing high at 43.25. Some would say, well, that's not 44. No, it's not. But weekly trading zones are an area, just like fibs are an area. And you say, but fibs put an exact price point on your chart. Now, so do the weekly trading zones, but sometimes a 50% retracement on any time frame may not be spot on the number. It might get a couple ticks above it or a few ticks below it. It might spike it. It can do any number of things. So the easiest way to remember is that it's an area. Okay, just like here, as price started to move back up to the zone overhead, and it got there this morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern, before Wall Street wakes up. So we had a 30-minute candle there, and then here, and we had an outside candle followed by an outside candle, and then we dropped right back into this area from yesterday's pullback, leg and a retracement from the swing low to the swing high. We pull back to the 62% Fibonacci retracement from this low to this high. Walked it for 2.5 hours and did a leg and a retracement, a leg, a retracement, a leg, right up into this area here, into this weekly trading zone. We spiked above it and then back below it. Again, outside candle followed by an outside candle, and by outside I simply mean the high is higher than the previous high, and the low is lower than the previous low. So this was an outside and this was an outside. And I need to close Telegram because it's going off. There, see if that quietens it down. Okay. Now, let me move these out of the way. We're in the live training room this morning. All of a sudden, now keep in mind, this was a big red candle at one point in its life. This wick here, price opened. First it was a green candle, then it became a red candle, and then this one, it was green for a couple ticks, sold off, and here we are, right down here into this area of support. See that? Okay. Now, price pulled back up, and in the live training room I said this could be potentially where we find resistance. Maybe we don't go all the way to the zone, and we could have done a leg right there. However, buyers have continued to push price higher, and it looks like it's going to walk its way back to the zone. Once it gets to the zone, one of three things will happen. It's always one of three things. You're either going to get consolidation like this, or you're going to get rejected like that. And by rejection, what I mean is price came down, touched the zone, but then when this candle closed, it left a wick in its wake. See? It's like it touched the hot stove and then snatched the tan back. Okay? So the slice, that's when price moves through the weekly trading zone as if it's not even there. That's the least likely thing to happen. The second most likely is the rejection, and the most likely is the consolidation. So there are very few absolutes in the world of trading, but you can be absolutely assured that price will do one of three things when it hits the weekly trading zone. Well, apparently you can't turn Telegram off. Wait a minute, there's got to be a way to turn off notifications. Let me see. I'll do that, and I'll share with you how to do it. Oh, I had an email from someone the other day who said they had had an issue with the when they signed. They started using Telegram, and they were getting some spam. You know, the whole ED emails and all that kind of stuff. And the person was, they said, hey, you know, I very rarely install anything new because I don't want to get spam. And so, you know, I went ahead and I did the Telegram and I got all this spam. So, well, the only problem there is Telegram doesn't ask you for your email address. What? Yeah, that's true. They don't. Phone number, yes. Email, no. We go to settings and Telegram, notifications, play sound. Oh, all I got to do is turn off the sound. There we go. And now I got to remember to turn it back on when I'm done. So let me drag it up so you can see it. See there? Just go to notifications, turn off sound. That way, if you're, you know, if you are on a call or you don't want to be distracted or you're using VoIP to make your phone calls, VoIP, and you don't want it to go ding, ding, ding in your headset the way it was doing in mine just now, all you got to do is just turn notification sound off. You can still get the visual pop-up, but it won't ding in your headset. And then when you do want it to ding again, well, you know the deal. Turn it back on. All right. So price marches up to the weekly trading zone. We expect it to be good resistance until it isn't. And there was a good question in the trading room today. Well, lots of great questions. One in particular was, well, I had made that comment until proven otherwise. And the question was, well, how do you prove it? What is the proof? Okay. Well, let's say price is coming down and we expect this to be good support until proven otherwise, right? So when this candle closes well below here and we open here, that's proof for me. Okay. And then we come down here, we touch it, we get rejected, we close up here, we open here, pull back. That's proof for me that the market is at least trying to get back up to the weekly trading zone. Leg and a retracement, a leg and a retracement, a leg and a retracement, a leg, and then a deeper retracement. Took us right back to this area here. Okay. Turn the phone off too. Let me check and see if John has joined us yet. Told him that we would be abbreviated today.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, thanks, Val. Okay. So here we are back here reaching up to the weekly trading zone. We stalled at this area. It was resistance And when we got above it, it was support. That's another version of until proven otherwise. And then sold off here. There was no particular news of any kind, at least not that we were aware of in the trading room. There was news at 10 a.m. Eastern, and that news was consumer confidence came in lower than expected. The forecast, the previous number was 126.6. The forecast number was 124.7, and the actual number this morning was 120.2. So we could have tied this to the news if it had come in on the 10 o'clock candle, but it came in 10:30. Okay? Okay. All right. So that's kind of everything that's happened today and yesterday afternoon. Here's the Sunday night Globex Open. We still have that little gap sitting up there that has not filled. Leg retracement. See? We can do it this way as well. Makes that a 38% retracement. If you have any questions, put them in the chat box. There's John.
John.
Hey, John. Welcome to the show.
Hi there. Thanks for bringing me on.
You betcha.
You know, looking at the S&P chart there, it's kind of strange the way this thing
yes,
got hammered this morning.
I agree.
It
There
was
was
kind
no
of looking,
news.
you know,
Yeah.
especially after making the effort during the night, you know, to get back up,
Right.
and then to get slammed down again. But I think, you know, there's always a lot of volatility when the Fed does a thing, and tomorrow,
That's right.
you know, we could potentially test the 26 and a quarter, and then go back up, or even the 2600, and then, or say 18 or something, but and then we could take off to the upside. I do believe if we break that 2650, you know, in the next 24 hours or so, or 26 or 27, you know, the market could actually break out above the 26 3/4 resistance that's held us back here, you know, from breaking above 2700. I mean, you know, all things considered, think about this, you know, probably back in August, so July, August, getting above 27 was a pretty deal, right? And we're almost there right now. So, you know, you know, I mean, we got up to 29. We're 300 points down off the high. I mean, it's pretty impressive where we are today, given in spite of it all, you know.
Right.
And also, look, I wouldn't underestimate that announcement that was made yesterday, announcing the end of this. You know, as some people said, don't be surprised if it's kind of a non-event or an anticlimax, you know, after all the hype. And you know, most of these charges, in fact, pretty much all of them, are either ancient history, or like Manafort, or related to people lying, you know, after the fact kind of thing. In the actual, you know, in the actual meat and potatoes department, there's not much, if anything, there substantiating the, you know, the entire investigation, by the looks of it. So it's highly likely to, you know, it's probably going to disappear from the headlines, you know, pretty soon thereafter. And that could do a lot of things. You know, it could improve the polls for Trump a lot. It could improve the market, because it's probably been a bit of a worry and overhang, you know, regardless. And I think when this new Attorney General comes in, you know, there might be a bit of a shakeup as well in the Justice Department that may be well received by the market. And as we said yesterday, I mean, look at Boeing today, for example. You know, Boeing is looking really, really strong. You know, we've had that on our buy list for you know, since the lows pretty much, and it's I mean, look, the all-time high is 390, and we're just almost up to 370 right now. So you know, that's how great is that?
Say also, that again.
You know, the all-time high was about 395 on Boeing.
On Boeing.
On Boeing, sorry. And we're at just shy of 370 right now. And remember what I said about Xilinx last week? I mean, look at this stock. It's just fantastic the way this stock's going up. And the other one is Keys, Keys, which is, both these stocks are making new all-time highs, and they look very bullish. And the Nugget and the JNUG are, you know, I believe. The biggest deal going on today is that I do believe the JDust. You might want to put it up there at JDST.
Yeah, I will here in just a second. I got to get logged in.
Yeah, I think it's making new all-time record lows today, JDust, which is very, very bullish for gold. And we reiterated our buy signal on gold today, or our upside objectives that we put out several months ago. 15.50 for gold and $21 for silver. You know, sometime in the foreseeable future. And so the gold stocks are really, really acting very, very well right now. Today, Royal Gold is breaking out. GOLD is moving up. Newmont is moving up. They're all moving up beautifully and pretty strongly today. So that's a really, really good thing. As I said the other day, wait for an opportunity to buy the semiconductors. They've come back because NVIDIA came out with some not very good results and knocked the sector down, but not appreciably. You know, the semiconductor SOXL ran up to about 109 or 108 or something. Came down to 98. It's probably a pretty good buy down here.
Now, which one was it you wanted me to bring a chart up on?
JDST.
JDS. JDUST or just JDST? You're at JDST. Okay. All right.
Yeah, it does look like it's making new all-time lows there. Look at that, son of a gun. And you know, that's kiss of death for a stock when that happens. And what it tells you is there's no premium right now for gold going down. I mean, it might go down a bit, but it's sort of a pretty big deal. You know, look at the gap. Look at the gap breakdown from the 55 and accelerating down move, and we lost a lot of value. That thing's lost a lot of value in just a few days.
Yeah. It's dropped from, this open here was, well, this close up here was at 52 and we're down at 42. Yeah, $10.
Yeah.
25%.
Yeah, exactly. Check out can you get a bit more data? More dramatic downside potential. Yeah, it's absolutely, it does look, it's like it's absolutely maybe not quite all-time lows. We got that little guy over there. It didn't go back that far enough. But you got to be a little bit careful because it might take out that bottom and then have a bit of a bounce or a rally, and it could have a big rally. But you have to be, look at the base. Look at the base breaking down. That, I mean, look at it. It's coming down from 220, 240 to this long base. and breaking down below that is probably extremely bearish. And,
after basing like that, you'd expect it to turn up, not down.
No, I don't know about that. It's because you're coming off a crash. You're coming off a crash.
Yeah.
You're coming off a crash high, Dwayne. You know.
Right.
So and it's sort of like a continuation pattern, really, to the downside. And the gold stocks mostly look pretty dynamically bullish right now, most of them. So I mean, just the fact that this gold's been moving up in the last few days on no news is really, I get people calling me up and say, why is gold moving? Well, it's moving for a lot of reasons, but there's no particular definitive reason why it's actually going up the way it's going up. It is making new highs in 70 or so currencies. That's a pretty big deal in of itself, because in all those countries, people are probably buying gold, and the Brexit is having an impact on the gold too.
Yeah, they're going to vote on that this afternoon, right?
I don't know. The pound just made a big reversal, so we might be a little bit overstretched here on the gold. There's probably going to be a volatility here in the next 27 hours or so, especially with the Fed. I mean, the gold could easily come back and test the 1300 on the April even, and then it might go up again. So, but I mean, when the gold stocks are starting to move higher here now with authority, it's a very complicated thing with the gold stocks, because when we were $150 lower on the market near the lows, the gold stocks were really getting hammered, and they were not coming up for air. They weren't, they were late to turn around. They were slow to turn around, and normally you expect the gold stocks to bottom first, and then make the gold itself to bottom later. But when the underlying commodity is as low as it got, and remember, a lot of miners have a cost of production over 100, over 1,000, 1,100. So when the price got down 1160, they were borderline profitable, some of these companies. So that was a reason why the stocks did not, turn ahead of the market. But now it's sort of different, because when you're $150 higher, the profitability of these gold miners is much more realistic. Excuse me, much more tangible, and the market starts to anticipate higher gold prices. So if that happens, the next $100 to the upside, you're going to see a pretty big move in the gold stocks. Probably much bigger than we've already seen, because the next $100 makes a huge amount of difference to the profitability of these miners. Their costs are largely fixed, and it's a funny thing that as the price goes higher, the economic models on which mining is predicated tend to identify more ore reserves, because they identify more reserves because the cost of the amount of gold that's profitable to mine actually increases kind of exponentially. So it's a pretty big deal, and obviously if we go up hundreds of dollars in the forthcoming, in the future, that will really have a tremendous impact on gold stocks.
So it's been 6 years since we traded 1400.
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal. Yeah, if we break above that whole look, it does look like a reverse head and shoulders. You see that? The whole thing, the bottom. I mean, the bottoming formation on this thing is just mind-boggling, because if we break above that that, and remember, remember when we went back on the last time we looked at this early 18 when it was at 1360 and it looked like it was going to break out and then bang, went the other way.
Right.
But now the way this thing is, you know, you start taking out, it's probably going to be around 1350, 60-ish, or a little bit higher, and we start taking that out. I mean, you're going to have a sprint up to 1560, which is where our next target is. And actually, if you can bring it down a bit, see where the resistance is above, it might be as high as 1600 or 1650.
Yep. Question from the audience: any idea when Santa Fe is going to start production?
Well, there's an announcement coming out soon. I won't say any more than that, right?
Sounds good.
It's yeah, it might be a surprise. So they're a lot of making progress, and it's quite a remarkable accomplishment to be able to do that. You know, as soon as it's you know, as soon as it gets announced, I guess. Yeah, you see that 1700? You see that, Dwayne? It could go all the way back up to there. Pretty quickly, actually.
Yeah.
Pretty quickly. And look at that base. Holy mackerel.
Yeah, I mean, this could, we could see significantly higher prices. We could crest 2,000 on this run.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because, you know, if you get up to 17, the momentum to go that extra, you know, it's look, given that we went to 1900 the last time, it's highly likely we'd break 2000 on the upside and probably go to 22. I think we'll go to 22, 22 and a half, 23. Then we might pull back to the you know, we could pull back to the 1900 or consolidate. You know, we could consolidate between 19 and a quarter, say, and 20, 23 and a quarter, something like that. You know, we could go to gun ups 24. I wouldn't rule that out. Can you go back a little bit more time-wise, just
Sure.
to see where that 1700?
You want to put it on a weekly?
Look at that. So it actually goes all the way to 1800. Son of a gun. Jesus.
Now this is I'm on spot gold.
Oh, so that's a kind of a, yeah. So actually 1800 is the high. Oh no, there's a high at 19. Yeah. Yeah, it could go all the way, but it could really go all the way to 1800 before it runs into trouble, you know. Then, I mean, it could go to 1800, and then it could pull back to 16. You could have it trading in a range 16 to 18.
Yep.
And then after that, it could go, you know, it's either going to go straight up in one line, which, you know, go back and look at from 2004. I mean, it's interesting to look at that chart, because just go back to pull that back to 2004 again, the way it was. No, a little bit more. Oh, okay. I was thinking that the chart was going to come.
Yeah, I can.
We're going to see. Oh, there it is. There it is.
Yeah.
Look at the base. So you got, in a way, you got a kind of a look at the base we came off, right, in 2001. And it took a long time for the market to get going, but look at 2004. We were at 420. Look, there you go, 392. You got your cursor on it, and then you know, in 2 years. 2005 was when it really took off. From 425 to what was the high? About 800? No, 720. So it went.
20?
Yeah, it went up a lot. So look, what it would go to go up 70%, so something like that. From 425 to 700. Yeah. So
Yeah, 70%.
And right, and so imagine going up 70% from here. You know, that's going to take us up towards the numbers we've been talking about, right?
Absolutely.
The low 2000s, and that's not unreasonable. But look at the continuation pattern on this thing, and imagine it's kind of a little like, you know, it's kind of like Bitcoin. You know, you based out for a long time. You kind of went up 20-fold or so, and then, you know, your base come back. The next up thing on gold could be a lot more like Bitcoin. You know, the real Bitcoin could be much more in that kind of vein. because there's a lot of reasons for that to happen. And you know, the psychology, if you like, of this space, you know, and probably going up much the same way as we did before, almost in a straight, in an up curving exponential uptrend, of a sort of straight line uptrend. Because that's the thing about gold. I mean, when it gets to, and they're actually saying the crypto people are moving to gold, and may stay with gold for a while. You know.
Oh yeah.
That could bring a lot of money into the gold market. And then listen, you got the whole. Don't forget, you got the Chinese and the Indians, and then look at what we've been talking about. You know, the Chinese economy being the largest economy in the world before too long, and the Indians being number 2 potentially, you know, and U.S. and India fighting it out for number 2 spot. You know, you got two huge sources of buying for gold, plus you know, the dollar itself and the yuan and what happens to those currencies could be the. You know, we talked about it yesterday, you know, the 87 syndrome, where later this year, if the dollar goes into a kind of a death spiral, a meltdown, you got an 87 repeat on your hands, and gold is going to go much higher if that happens. So, and you have gold in the market going higher, just like it did from 2000. Remember, 2005 to 2007, gold in the market went up together in an inflationary cycle. And you know, why would that be happening right now? Well, because after this scare that happened in the last 3 months, the Fed is probably a lot more less aggressive, maybe a lot more accommodative again. And you've got the worldwide look. There's no secret, the Chinese are stimulating their economy at record levels. They've never done anything like this before, and that's huge for China. I mean, to give you an idea, this is what I was going on about yesterday. You know, back in the Y2K in the 2000 that pushed the market to all-time highs. You know, they only stuck in about 50 billion or 100 billion. It was actually about 50 billion as a kind of an emergency measure to make sure that the Y2K didn't blow up. And of course it didn't blow up, but you know, it pushed the market up dramatically. That was about 50 billion. And today, I mean, you're talking about 5 times that, maybe more. So, and then you've got all the trillions that have been going into this market in the last 10 years and around the world. I mean, it's absolutely to the power of 10 of anything we've seen before. And that's an incredibly powerful driver for a possible mega bull market in gold.
Let's take a look at silver here. There we go. All right, that's the same chart, but with silver instead of gold.
Yeah, and the silver. I mean, look at the last time. It's a little bit different from the 2010 when it took off. But look at the way it took off. Look at the.
It's a pretty meteoric rise.
On the silver.
And that was happening at a time when people were saying, "Oh,
Sure.
you'll never see $50 silver again." Well, kind of did.
We weren't saying it. As you know, Dwayne.
Of course not.
We made the call of a lifetime there.
When was the Hunt brothers run up?
September the 15th.
When did the Hunt brothers run it up?
That was in 1979-80.
Okay.
And really the story today is it's not the Hunt brothers cornering the market anymore. It's the Russians, the Chinese, and you know, it's whole countries are cornering the market. And it's not 2 billionaires anymore. It's 2,000 billionaires. Remember that.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly.
So the dynamics are extremely favorable to something similar happening again, except this time, you know, if we take $50 a third time, you're going to break, you know, it's going to go higher. We're going to eventually break that 50, just like the NASDAQ, breaking 5,000 and going all the way to 8,000. You know, that would take silver up towards $80 on a comparative scale. So That would be pretty spectacular.
That looks good. You were talking about Boeing earlier. Apple reports today.
Yeah.
Thank you, Karen, for that.
You have a look at it. Did you manage to put up that Boeing VTOL aircraft yesterday, or not?
No, I didn't. Tell me again what it is, and I'll look for
The
it.
new one. It should be available. It's a Boeing VT. Or go to. Hang on, I'll get it for you.
Boeing VTOL aircraft.
Go to New Atlas, newatlas.com.
Okay.
Should be in the directory here. Just keep going down. You'll probably see it.
Okay.
Might have to search for it. There's one. That's the Cormorant. We've seen that one before. Keep going.
Boeing shows off new transonic wing concept.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. That's
Is that the one you wanted me to look at?
No, it's not. No, just see if they got a search thing for VTO Boeing. Wow, look at that. Check this. What was that?
Hang on, I'll go back.
Dismissed. Check that one. Pretty.
Have you been having some internet issues? Your voice tends to I don't even know how to explain it. Boeing's latest UAV. What was it you wanted to look at?
VTOL.
Yeah, but
VTOL.
I scrolled past something. Okay. All right, let's just go back to the top of the page. Okay. This one. Let's see, Aston Martin. Wow. The skies will never look the same again. We might have lost John. He's still logged in. Okay. All right. Let me pull this down. All right. Here's another example of rejection. Price ran up to the weekly trading zone. Looks like it hit it, but the swing high was 44 1/4. So it went one tick above it. Leg, rejection, retrace. Remember, one of three things. The slice, which is the least likely. Second most likely is rejection. And the most likely is consolidation. And so from this vantage point, it appears to be the path of least resistance. But we have to expect this to be good support until proven otherwise. So from 26.35 down to 26.31, it's about 4 points in there. We get down below this low, 35. Yeah. Okay. All right. I had told you guys that today would be an abbreviated show, and it will be. Going to stick to that. We're going to roll sideways here, probably into the Fed announcement tomorrow. Not a lot we can do about that except wait it out. Here's the Dow. Now the Dow had that same pullback that we were looking at on the S&P. There it is on the Russell. And there it is on the NQ. You there, John? Hi.
Remember we talked about the lumber, Dwayne?
Uh-huh.
It's almost up the limit again today, up at 404 right now. So I think the last time I said it was a pretty good buy around, it's 382, remember? It's 382, 383, 4. That's a pretty big move. By the way, copper is doing real well today too. It's up a lot.
Lumber. Here we go, lumber futures. Okay, now on the continuous contract, I'm showing 402 as the high of the day. What do you show?
Gee, that lumber got cut in half. Look at that, went all the way from 640 down to 320.
Yeah, that was
402. That's right. Yeah,
that was May. In May, we hit I don't know what, almost 650.
Yeah.
And then we pull back to it got cut in half, a little more than half.
Mm-hmm.
So
probably means we're going. You know, this we'll probably get up to 500 before the year. You know, during the year. So it's pretty encouraging to see it up as the way it is.
Well, it tends to bode well for housing, so.
Yeah, exactly.
For
Exactly. Well, for the economy in general. Why don't you put up cotton and take a look? I think cotton is getting ready for a move, right?
Cotton futures. Did I put it on daily? Oh, what happened? It doesn't want to hold on a daily. Let's go back to weekly. Okay, so there's cotton. Does this look like anything like your chart?
Yeah, you know, it's not very convincing. Got to be a little bit careful, because if we were to break down below 72 or so, could start a whole nother leg down, you know, in the market, given where we were back in 15 and 16. However, if we can't up above 75, you could possibly see a move that takes cotton up to 100 or more. You know, another major up leg in cotton. I mean, look at
this chart looks much better. Take a look at this one.
Yeah, but
there we go. There's a daily.
Go back to the other one. The way, okay, get weekly again.
Weekly, there we go.
Yeah, just stretch it out a bit.
You mean like this?
Oh, I can't see. Yeah, that's probably good enough. I mean, look where cotton can go.
I know. Yeah.
You know,
this seems
this
is it's like some kind of anomaly here. I don't know. It's not a move that I follow.
There's a bit of a kind of a wedge. You know, if we break out of, when I said, look, we could go to 100, we could probably go a lot higher than that. I mean, actually, this thing's been basing out for 7 years, and if it does break out, this thing could really go for a run. So it's one to keep an eye on, and maybe bring up the sugar as well. SB.
Sugar futures. There we go. That's sugar
Yeah,
on
similar
the
kind of a
weekly.
pattern, in a way. Yeah, similar kind of a pattern, in a way. Yeah, I think if sugar breaks out above 13, it's going to have it could have a really big move up.
Yeah.
It's quite a dynamic structure, given where it came from and the way it's kind of winding up like a spring. You know, if we kind of get a run up towards 14, 15, you'd probably want to get on board this sugar.
Yeah, we need to get above 15.
Yeah.
Maybe get above 16.
And coffee, why don't we have a look at the coffee?
There's coffee.
God, they all look the same, these charts almost.
They do, don't they?
Yeah, we're not necessarily out of the woods on this one. It actually might be trending down again.
Maybe we could be headed into a bull market in commodities across the board.
Yeah, it looks like that way. It looks that way. What about the cocoa?
CJ or CC?
CC.
Okay, there we go.
That's actually turning down more, the cocoa, which is, you know, potentially bullish for coffee, because a lot of the time they go in the opposite direction, cocoa and coffee.
If it puts in a higher low here, because we got a higher low
yeah, if
here,
it gets above 2,400, that would be very dramatic. Why don't we have a look at the copper? It would be.
There we go.
Yeah,
similarities in all these charts.
Yeah, copper looks really kind of ready to take off. Probably helped a lot by the Chinese stimulus that's going on. You know, if we get above 330, that will be a pretty big deal for copper. Could push us. Remember, the Internet of Things uses a lot of copper, and there's a lot of stuff going on, and the electric cars use a lot of copper as well, and there's more electric cars being produced than ever before, so it's fundamentally
back on what was it you had me looking for, this Boeing thing?
Yeah, I can't seem to find it. Oh, that Aurora thing, that looks like it. That's pretty much it. They've got a slightly better version of it, but that's essentially what it looks like. Yeah. So it's got 4 big rotors, and it propels, it's got a propeller at the back to push it.
It's got a propeller. What did you say about rotors? Oh, I didn't even notice those. Yeah, I see it right there. Now,
pretty sleek.
Whatever happened? Remember in Dubai? Was it Dubai? They had the flying motorcycles.
Flying. Yeah. They're kind of in action, I think.
Okay, this was November of last year. 17, 18,
probably pretty
18.
good for riding across the desert, you know.
Well, the police are supposed to be using these. They were training on them the last time we looked. Yeah, there's no news since November of last year. I guess this was the last time that we took a look at this.
I'll have to ask the prince I'm talking to. I gotta started following a few people over there, and one morning one of these princes popped up, started talking to me. So
yeah,
kind of interesting. Yeah, it was a bit of a buzz. Doesn't happen every day.
All right, this guy's going to take off, and this is going to be such effective crowd control. You know, where one police officer could maybe monitor 50, 100 people at a parade or a concert, you know, one officer could oversee hundreds and hundreds of people by just, you know, just hovering over everybody's head.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that was a pretty short, the Mosquito helicopter. The skies will never be the same.
They sure won't. And you know what? It's really, you know, all of these things from 5G, all of these innovations, jetpacks, you know, jetpacks are becoming, you know, a reality now. But it's going to intensify in a way we can't even fathom right now. I think it's going to be just like the 20s, the 1920s, except, you know, 100 years later, instead of, you know, 150 different car makers, you're going to have 150 different, you know, flying car makers, and all that brings. And then you've got the autonomous driving, which is going to become a huge deal as well.
My wife saw one in traffic yesterday.
It's just going to get better and better, and in time, I mean, eventually, it's going to be, you know, it's probably going to reduce an awful lot of accidents on the road, and fatalities.
Okay, this guy's, he's taking off right here. This is the Mosquito EXT. You know, if you go down in this, there you don't have a lot of protection. So you need to kind of know what you're doing. You know, you should be getting some altitude here. There we go. Would you fly that?
Personally, for me, I'll take a shot at it, I think, yeah. Personally for me, the one that I'd probably feel safest in is that Lilium jet, you know? The one out of Germany.
Lilium.
Yeah.
Jet.
I think it's by far the most, you know, the best of the whole lot right now. Because it's got the speed. I mean, you can fly 300 or 400 miles an hour in this thing. Now, it's really a big deal. And look at the lift power with all the little rotors. See that?
That's amazing. Look at that.
It really is. It's mesmerizing, you know.
World's first
Incredibly
all
cool.
electric air taxi.
Yeah.
Lilium.com. 300-kilometer range. Travel from London to Paris in 1 hour.
Yeah.
Fly as fast as a Formula 1
I was looking
car.
at they're talking about the A350 today. The Airbus A350 is supposed to be the most advanced jet in the world. Not necessarily, you know, there's the A380, but when you look at the cockpit of that thing, you know, I was thinking to myself, imagine if you took the Wright brothers back from time and put them in that cockpit.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be a mind blower for them, you know.
To say the least.
And that's what's going on here today. I mean, this is you know, this is the Wright brothers 100 years later. That's what we're looking at right now.
Right. No, it is. It really is. All right. Anything else you want to cover?
Well, listen, Blaine, thanks very much. No, I
John.
appreciate it very much.
All right.
For the,
We'll catch you
okay, all the best.
tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay.
All right, guys. Moving on. And we're looking for this leg to the downside here. We talked about dreams, then we talked about dream killers, and I thought we were done yesterday, but I got one more. One more on the dream killers. Hebrews 11:26 says he was looking ahead to his reward. Sometimes we look ahead to our defeat. We don't have to do that. Moses discovered that when you're not fulfilling your God-given dream, a king's palace won't make you happy. You ever been there? Man, you know, I got this going on and this, and I should be happy, but something's missing. That something could be God's God-given dream for you. By faith, Moses, when he had grown up, refused to be known as the son of Pharaoh's daughter. He chose to be mistreated along with the people of God because he was looking ahead to his reward. He persevered because he was looking ahead to see him who is invisible. Hebrews 11:24 through 27. When God gives you a dream, you'll be able to see things that are invisible to others. Now, this dream killer is called lack of imagination. Ever suffer from that? The humorist Robert Orban said, "Always remember that there are only two kinds of people in the world, the realists and the dreamers. The realists know where they're going. The dreamers have already been there. God gave you the gift of memory to replay the past and the gift of imagination to pre-play the future." Moses saw the promised land long before the people of Israel got there. It's what sustained him through 40 long years in the wilderness. God did not make a mistake when he gave you imagination. If you can stand in the middle of your dreams and envision it before it comes to pass, even when others doubt it. If you're a dreamer who has already been there in your imagination, trust God and put your dream to the test. If you come from a discouraging background or don't think of yourself as an especially imaginative person, don't lose hope. You can still discover and develop a dream because God has put that ability within you and me, just like he did Moses. That's our good word for the day. Okay, that's going to do it for today, Tuesday, 29th day of January, 2019. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with his mercy and with his grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.